Yeah, we are finally in the game. I can't believe it. I'm just hoping there's no more mistakes with first picks or what have you. Brewmaster did get banned out once again by Titan. Invasion. Man, if they don't ban before the reserve time hits, I'm gonna check the chat.
Yeah, keep an eye on the chat. I suppose that's the wisest option here, but got to consider now. We do have that Brewmaster ban out immediately. I'm thinking we could see just the usual suspects. If we see a Void, a Razor, or a Tinker, however, I am going to be irritated. Doom now banned out. 'Cause I don't know about you, but I would like to see something unorthodox, just something new, refreshing.
Well, I doubted we're gonna see it in the bans, but pick-wise, it's definitely a possibility. I mean, Venomancer is a hero that we've seen quite a lot across the past couple of days, so something different already in itself. But still, maybe something like a Juggernaut to be popped out by somebody.
We've seen Juggernaut actually a few pickups lately as a support Juggernaut. I mean, Skywrath Mage Juggernaut as a support combination is actually quite scary. Gives you access to the healing ward as well. And it's a first pick Lycan.
Oh, well, that's never a good sign. At the very least, it's on the Radiant side, so possibly they can put a stop to it, but even then, just stopping a Lycan, holding
Ra
him down.
Razor, Void, and Tinker are all through here. I'll point this out. If Titan take Tinker, they can TP to Wolves.
That's actually a pretty sick combination, just because the Wolves, they are so ridiculously fast. And it's a faceless fight to begin with. Invasion, Skywrath Mage, well...
Tinker? I'm predicting a Tinker just because of the
Nature's
Lycan.
Prophet is also one possibility, I guess,
Yeah,
but...
true. Very true. Nature's Prophet could happen. I'm
And
still having my expectations, though, of a Tinker. It's just been... We didn't have Tinker at all yesterday, and that just makes me think we're going to get some karmic retribution and we're going to have a day of Tinker.
well, the only time will tell at the moment, because Titan, they definitely didn't rush for it, so... I guess they... Wow, a 3M Protector? That was like way down the list of heroes I would have thought that are gonna get picked up here.
That was near the bottom of the list, I was thinking, but it seems like Mushi has had a stroke of the Goblak, and he might be thinking of taking something out of Goblak's Book of Genius. He's one of my favorite drafters to watch for that fact.
Well, to be honest, I mean, Living Armor isn't all that bad against Skywrath Mage, just trying to survive through Mystic Flare, for example, or anybody who gets caught in the chrono, you Living Armor them up so they will survive that little bit longer. But it's usually a hero that I maybe would have thought Invasion are gonna go for, at least, well, not with Faces when Skywrath Mage probably, but just up against Lycan, keeping your towers alive, something like that. But no, Titan, and they must have some bigger plans for this.
I think so, yes. And, you know, part of me thinks, okay, you got to like him for the safe lane. Treant, sure, he can play as a support, but levels on a Treant are very strong. And you can just soak experience with Treant, unlike a lot of other heroes, just because you get access to the Nature's guys. And off-lane Treant wouldn't be a bad thing. Then again, I will point out that you realize Treant has, I want to say, 85, if not slightly higher, base damage.
Yeah, I think it might be like 84, but close enough to 85. Depends on how many branches he picks up as well at the start, I guess.
Very true, it does depend on the number of branches, but my point being, you can harass it with a Treant Protector as a support Treant just by coming in, Leech Seed, and punching a guy.
What I have seen a couple of times, not for a long time yet, but it actually was a Treant Protector Darkseer offlane. Just Ion Shell and Surge out the Treant Protector and just look at the enemy die.
Mm. I would completely agree with that, but we do get a ban out on the Tinker, so I have some relief. We also see ban outs on the Invoker and the Centaur War Runner. Tide and Earthshaker are both possibly going to make it through the pool.
Earthshaker is going to be an extremely good hero for Invasion to pick up. It combos up reasonably well with Skywrath Mage just roaming around and all in all stopping the pushes, especially if it's Lycan with the Wolves and the Necrobooks. Just Echo Slams are going to be huge if that's the case. And of course, since Titan didn't ban it out Invasion, if they want to, they can easily pick it up now.
I'd be inclined to completely agree. And Earthshaker makes a lot of sense, so does the Tide. Both would work here. That means the Faceless Void would then go to the safe lane and they can farm up that a little bit more. But for Titan, I will say this, at least have some lockdown this time in the form of Overgrowth.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a bad one. It's actually, the range of it is pretty huge, so Treant Protector, if he positions himself correctly, can actually overgrowth so that Faceless Void can't do any damage in the chrono. So in theory it's pretty good, but Invasion they go for a Chakiro actually, and Macropyre into Chronosphere with a Mystic Flare on top. Whoever gets caught is gonna be dead, but of course, some nice pushing power from Jakiro, Liquid Fire, as well as just making it so that Roche actually doesn't damage them all too much if they go for it.
I would completely agree to that. And of course, the Jakiro, Liquid Fire. It's going to do a lot of work to towers. A lot of work.
Well, Titan now. Shadow Shaman is available. Nature's Prophet still in the pool as well if they want to go for some additional push at the moment.
I completely agree to that. Just something occurred to me, and this is off the back of something mentioned in chat by where is it? I'm not going to pronounce that name. Sorry, Air Batu. I was going to say you are probably right. We could see a Witch Doctor pick for Invasion, but Titan are going to take that to deny it going to Invasion in my mind. The Witch Doctor works for Titan, but what occurred to me was Skywrath Mage, core Skywrath Mage, mid Skywrath Mage. Then you've got a support Witch Doctor and Jakiro. You throw that all into a Chronosphere and you have the makings of absolute carnage.
Oh, that would have been actually pretty damn sick, especially if Titan would like to run a Lycan mid lane. Skywrath Mage with his Arcane Bolts actually would be a pretty sick amount of harass. Maybe even able to box out the Lycan if the skill level of a player is enough for it. So it wouldn't have been too bad, but Titan at the moment. Overgrowth into Death Ward is pretty damn decent. Invasion so far, all three of their heroes have the potential to stop the Death Ward, of course. Ice Paths, Ancient Seal, as well as Chronosphere. And, I mean, Titan, they do have a lot of heal. Leech Seed, if they're close enough for it. Living Armor, as well as Voodoo Restoration. So
That's quite a lot of healing per second, I will grant you that. And they could look to capitalize off the back of that and maybe push early. But it does look like a core Skywrath or a core Jakiro at this point.
I mean, it definitely does. Vengeful Spirit actually, I guess, another source to interrupt Witch Doctor. Speed up Roshan with both the Vengeance Aura as well as the Wave of Terror gaining minus armor. And, well, I guess there's even a tiny chance of a Vengeful Core, although I've only seen CIS teams attempt it and go for it. But a Dragon Knight pick for Titan, so a really tanky hero, more push. And I mean, what are the last ones going to be?
I'm honestly not sure, but you mentioned Vengeful Cores. The last team that I remember running a Vengeful Core was Rock's Kiss, and I can't recall anyone since then.
I only the CIS teams run it. I've seen like Power Rangers, Virtus Pro as well a couple of times. Rock's Kiss, I mean, just those Russians.
I'll say that they do have the crazy streak of innovative play and drafting, but it certainly does make it entertaining. But now for Titan, they'll pick up the Dragon Knight. Not going to be Invasion. I was thinking Invasion could equally run a DK, but no, it's there for Titan. So they've got their mid DK, they've got safe lane Lycan, potential off lane Trient, and a support Witch Doctor, or both of their supports already flagged. But it'll be a Nature's Prophet ban out from Invasion and a Storm Spirit ban out from Titan. So I can understand the Storm ban. They don't want to risk anyone getting on top of, say, the Lycan or the Witch Doctor, bringing them down before they can be of effect. But where now are they going to go with those last picks? Because Invasion, what really would fit here? Potentially, we're looking for the mid Skywrath or mid core Jakiro. Okay.
Oh, you love OD, don't you?
Yeah, I like OD, but I didn't see it coming for an Invasion lineup. I mean, we're now looking at potential tri-lane VS.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. Jakiro can still be a safe lane farmer as well. Does happen every now and then with Vengeful and Skywrath Mage just roaming around, kind of. Even in OD, tri-lane is not unheard of, if they really want to go for one. So, Invasion, I really like that actually when your lineup is extremely flexible to the lanes. They can even swap around during like mid-game when they see what the hell Titan is actually going to go for themselves. I say Dazzle is the last pick. So, is it a farming Witch Doctor or farming Dazzle now?
It's not. It's a support Dazzle Witch Doctor, off lane Trient, safe lane Lycan. Or is it? Wow, Ohio picking up the DK. This is different to what I thought, but the OD against the lineup of Titan makes a lot of sense. I mean, you've got to remember here, Titan, DK, Trient, and Lycan do not have the best base int pools. And OD can destroy that with Sanities.
Well, at the moment, Mushi picked up Tree and Protector. They can swap it around when they get into the game, but if it's going to be a farming Tree and Protector, that will be a first. I have seen farming Dazzles. I guess I haven't seen farming Witch Doctors, but farming Trient, man, can it be a thing?
I would say no. because the attack speed is so slow.
Go,
No,
go
no, 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 no,
Radiance
no,
Treant
no,
with
no,
Nature Skies, man. Best, bro, best.
Surely not. If this is, I will eat my imaginary hat.
No.
This would be insane, and if it actually worked. And we got. I suppose. Let's just introduce the players and see what they can show us. For Titan, we've got Ohio on the Dragon Knight, we've got Mushi on the Treant, we've got KYXY on the Lycan, Extinct on the Witch Doctor, and bringing up the rear, we've got WTF on the Dazzle. And they're going up as a 5-man into the enemy jungle.
And for Invasion, Ghost will be playing the Faceless Void, heading towards the safe lane. Actually wasted some mana on a Time Walk already. May have been a mistake, maybe wanted to cancel it, but nonetheless, he should be fine still. Kechi Kimba playing that mid lane OD with ADTR on the Vengeful Spirit, and so far a dual offlane with OK on the Skyriff Mage and FCFC on the Jakiro. But the Dazzle might be a farming one since he does have Ring of Protection, double sets of Tangos. I mean, I'm not too sure what to expect here, really.
I honestly do not know myself. I mean, a draft like this confuses me to some extent, but it could certainly work. I mean, I've seen weirder things. I honestly have. I mean, there's some things I remember back from Dota 1 which were absolute insanity, but from where we stand right now, how are we going to see this lane? We've got... KYXY could take the off lane with a support, maybe? Surely not dual lanes.
Well, KYXY actually headed mid lane now with Ohio heading towards the bottom lane. Also, a rather weird decision because Dragon Knight usually wants to just get the bottle for the mid lane, spam out Breathe Fire, and he's going to be up against a tri lane. And
the thing is, he will get punished too heavily by an OD if you put the DK in the mid lane. At least KYXY will be able to summon wolves and use those to last hit.
well, that's true enough. Just Howl is pretty cost efficient as well. Just go in, get those last hits that way. I mean, it has a Quelling Blade after all, so getting the last hits definitely shouldn't be too hard.
Well, the lanes are starting to take a little bit of shape now. We've got Dazzle up on the off-lane farming. So off-lane Dazzle, played by WTF. Potential support rotating down from Extinct and Mushi towards the safe lane. This is very interesting. If it's a support Treant, I'm looking for a large amount of potential for harassment with Extinct on the Witch Doctor. He'll throw the stun, then we'll get the Leech Seed to start things off, and you'll just get the Treant to come in and start punching. But this is a try versus try scenario where we have a very aggressive tri-lane out of Invasion. They've got a Vengeful Spirit, a Skywrath Mage, and a Jakiro as a tri-lane. That says we want to fight, we want to kill you outright. And that could be the order of business here, because we can already see dewarding coming up. They're taking positional control, and... this is the rough time in the game where I would turn around and say to you, who do you want to bet on? But I don't even feel comfortable betting at this point.
Yeah, these lanes are just so awkward. I'm gonna go for Titan because I love Core Dazzle. That is the reasoning I'm gonna give here.
Ohio gets slowed up by a Concussive Blast, but they don't have enough to follow it up at this point. He's just getting continually harassed by the Liquid Fire. You say Core Dazzle, so you're going to bet on Titan.
Yes.
I have to say I like this tri-lane out of Invasion. It's very aggressive, it can get in the enemy's face, it gives Jakiro the farm that he wants, and that will be utility Jakiro. He'll probably pick up the mechanism, and from there look maybe for the Veil of Discord, which would also then empower pretty much everyone else on the side of Invasion. I seriously do like OD as a hero. Mainly, I suppose, it's a hero that's very popular within the UK sort of small community, and OD is still one of my personal favourites. I mean, some of his lines as well are absolutely awesome. So I'm going to put my bet on Invasion.
Okay, so all is good again, man. It's never fun anyway if you're rooting for the same team or thinking that the same team will win. So I'm just interested to see what skill build Dazzle will go for. So far, he has 2 points into Shadow Wave, which of course, if Ghost gets next to a creep wave, he actually can take a lot of damage from it. But, well, so far, no first bloods, no nothing. 3 minutes in. What lane do you predict the first blood will happen in?
I partly want to actually say this top lane, because take a look at Ghost. He's being heavily harassed by this core Dazzle, just from Shadow Wave. I mean, every time he comes forward with the last hit, you throw a heal.
Bottom lane, Extinct might go down, as might EDTR. The slows are there, but Extinct will oh, wait, Mushi. He actually got first blood as Skyriff Mage. He took care of Extinct a little bit later. But first blood for Mushi is Treant. Just the smack's a little bit too strong.
89 damage a hit. Yeah, that's a little bit too strong. It does a staggeringly large amount. There's very little the supports can do, especially the lower armor supports, like the Vengeful Spirit. I mean, she only has 4 armor as well. Well, I suppose that's fairly high for starting armor case, but the Skywrath Mage as well, 0 base armor, eating the full force of that fist.
Oh man, this Ohio actually on the bottom lane, he's not having a fun time at all trying to farm up. Healing Salve comes out, I think, from Extinct at the moment, but every time he gets close and Liquid Fire is off cooldown, FCFC just uses it straight away on the Dragon Knight. It's a great tool, or great just harassment form.
I completely agree. It's a really damn good harassment spell. I mean, it's completely free of cost. You can spam it effectively. It's got such a short cooldown. The duration is nice as well. Now that you've got the extra damage coming through from the dual breath, and this could be a lot of damage going onto Ohio here. He could have some problems. In comes the concussive blast. They might chase this one. All it'll take is a few more hits and the application of the liquid fire. But FCFC gets stunned out. That's a good bounce from that cask. And we could see some potential for turnaround. FCFC could be in a lot of trouble. Does Ohio have enough mana? No, he doesn't. But in the meantime, while this is going on, Outworld Devourer gets a kill mid lane with the rotation in from ADTR onto KYXY's Lycan.
Yeah, they actually baited it out at the moment. Although Titan they had Rune Vision with the Observer Ward, ADTR was actually smoked up. He picked up a Regeneration Rune just as Lycan was running towards it, and Lycan got caught around this area. Magic Missile, just a few right clicks, and OD got the Astral Imprisonment so they can get a little bit closer as well. Living Armor almost made it so that Lycan survives, but not quite, so... Invasion, 2-1 all in all, getting off to a pretty decent enough start.
This is the kind of game, though, where we could see a lot of early aggression. I mean, once Imba starts to come online on the OD, we're just going to be looking for absolute carnage. And I'm wondering what kind of OD build we're going to see, because I'll give you an example. Mushi, for example, tends to go a very early 4-star. 4-star after Brown Boots. Other options, more traditional builds on OD, we see that mechanism come up before a, say, 4-star, because the potential to just have infinite mana with the Essence Aura.
Yeah, we will see. What actually, he has something coming out. Is it Trank? No, never mind. It's FC's Tranquil Boat, so just a bottle for the OD at the moment.
The bottle at least will keep him sustained and keep his health nice and high in terms of his health pool total. But from where we sit, it's an interesting game, and I'm going to have to record some things here for my book of stats. I've started keeping track of a lot more things in it, and I generally like the unorthodox games, like this one. We did ask for some refreshing picks, as Fei Pang pointed out in the chat, and there's a difference between refreshing picks and then what's going to actually be a pincer movement here in mid lane. Imba could be in a lot of trouble. Eats the cask, but in comes Mushi. Has that right click damage, doing a lot, but suddenly Eclipse drops, melts that Treant, and now they're going to take Extinct as well. KOXY being the last one alive, but Prison on himself. He's going to keep himself alive, and this could be a triple kill. Yes, it is. Oh, not quite. It'll be Imba cleaning that one up, and it's a double kill the way of ADTR. I was going to say, is this going to be a triple kill VS? But what a turnaround. That's a 3-man attempt to kill Imba. It needs more than that.
By the way, look at how much XP Lycan had missing from level 6. 1 point. 1 point.
Oh, wow.
That's Shapeshift. I mean, maybe he would have been able to get a kill that way, but he definitely would have been able to just run out if nothing else. So that was actually pretty huge there, and whenever you're trying to gank as a 3-man unit and you kind of fail and completely flop, everybody dies, and you get nothing in return, you know something is going bad for you. And, well, in the meantime, Ghost, he's actually trying to regen up a little bit, using Healing Cell now. He's level 6 though, actually level 7 even, so Chronosphere is available. If only one support rotates in, they can set up an easy kill on Dazzle, I think.
Alright. I would completely agree. If they can kill the Dazzle, that's going to be very nice. But as I was saying, just before that little scuffle kicked off in the mid lane, there's a difference between, say, bottom lane, FCFC getting stunned up with that Dragon Tail. They're going to go straight onto that Jakiro. He's going to try to Ice Path out of this one, but in comes Extinct with that cast. Can they bring down FCFC? Yes, they can with that Dragon Breath.
Yeah, I mean, Jakiro, not the fastest of heroes. With Tranquil Boots is fine enough, I guess, with movement speed, but Leech Sheet, Elder Dragon Form, Paralyzing, or Dragon Tail, Paralyzing Cask as well. But look at this ADTR already. He's only level 4 yet. He has Boots of Speed and the Medallion of Courage just because he's been a participant in all of the kills of their team. So lots of minus armor early on, especially together with Howl of Terror. And with this, I mean, they can actually even bring down heroes like Dragon Knight who innately have high armor.
Yeah, it's one of the best items to go on a VS. You get the negative armor from a Medallion plus the negative armor from a Wave of Terror. This is one thing I'd always do like to point out. What makes negative armor better? More negative armor. It's an exponential gain in damage. It's a huge thing, and Now, maybe I'll get a chance to say what I was going to say. There's something. Oh no, bot lane. WTF rotates in. FCFC going to be the target once again. Eats a Dragon Tail. In comes the TPs, however. They need to kill this Jakiro very quickly, but in comes the Void. That Chronosphere. Dual Big Breath is ticking down as well, but the Jakiro will fall in the back of this one. WTF's going to be the focus, but Extinct gets stunned out by that magic missile. He's going to get Shallow Grave, but in comes Imber. He has that damage. Do we have a Sanities? No, we don't. They're going to have to do this without it, and Ohio's going to be the target. It's going to take a large amount of damage, but another casket starts bouncing around. Extinct trying to buy some time for the Dragonite to escape this one, and he'll just get imprisoned up, and they'll have to just fall back. They don't want to push this one. They're all so low.
Man, I was actually hoping more, expecting for more kills to happen for sure at the moment, but really nice kills. Titan back-to-back kills onto Jakiro at the moment, so preventing him from getting levels, from getting that faster mech at the moment as well. And man, if only OD had that Sanitas Eclipse. It was still on cooldown for about 15 seconds when he actually joined the fight. But if he had that, I am 100% certain that they would have chased for a little bit more.
I'm in complete agreement. If that Sanities would have dropped, it would have destroyed a lot of these heroes. And now maybe I'll get a second to quickly say what I was going to say a good 3.5 minutes ago. That we do like to see new things. I mean, we were asking for something refreshing, no razors, for example. There's a difference between, say, asking for something new and getting a lane like this. And we're going to go again. Ohio's going to be the focus. He's going to just get focused down completely. The Sanities drops. It obliterates the Dragonite. Now they're going to look for WTF. 4-star forward from Ember. He wants to kill the Dazzle, but he's going to just get Nature's Guys. So he throws the Prison instead on the Nature's to the Treant Protector. Instead, in the background of this fight, you got Extinct going to get isolated by 3, and he'll be brought down. But while this is all going on, you still have Ember raining down death. And on the top lane, equally, you know, there was a tower fall. Where did we hear that tower fall? That was a denied tower in the back lines, I think.
No, it was a KYXY destroying mid lane tower on the Lycan, so
Yeah.
doing what a good wolf does, just split pushes. And actually, farm-wise, he's 48 and 6 compared to 43 and 17, so actually surpassing the OD. Has a Vladimir's offering already, so KYXY doing pretty damn good.
Oh, I'm in complete agreement. Now I'll go to say what I was going to say a good 4 minutes ago. We're looking for something that's new and refreshing, sure. There's a difference between asking for something new and refreshing and getting this. This is completely way out there. I cannot stress how far out this draft went from what I thought we would see. I mean, we've got a core Dazzle and Treant Protector Mushi. We've got, on the flip side of that coin, a Tri-Lane VS Jakiro Skywrath Mage. There's a difference between something refreshing and something that is so unorthodox that I'm not sure which side of genius and insanity it falls of the line. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, I mean, I'm loving it still at the moment, but Ohio might be in some trouble. Ghost, he has the Chronosphere. Actually, the supports were rotating in. They smoke up as free. Haste Rune, up 1k Chikimba as well. No Sanitas Eclipse though.
Another haste? Really? For him? He gets all the haste runes. This is, in both games, he just gets haste runes, and now they're going to start waylaying onto Extinct. Going to put him in the prison, but do we see the fight? Where is the Chrono? Gets stunned out immediately after the jump in. If Ghost falls here, that will be huge. If he can't finish that Chrono, he gets it off finally. It only catches WTF though, and in the meantime, the Dragonite's are just waylaying on the rest of the team. ADTR taking a large amount of damage, but they're going to force him back. They lose the Treant Protector. The Shallow Grave comes up, but is it enough? I don't think it is. There's just too much damage being thrown into Ohio. He'll fall. WTF's going to be the next target, and he's still got the entire side of Invasion alive. Well, they lose the VS off the back of that to Creeps, but still, that's a damn good fight. That's a 1-for-3 trade. Make that potentially 1-for-4. Ice Cloud's going to drop Extinct. He will be focused down. One big Arcane Orb comes through, and Imber with the Ultra Kill.
Yeah, they're going to lose FCFC as well to Hoya at the moment, but it's definitely worth it to just feed an Ultra Kill to an OD at the moment. Although, look at KYXY. He's actually gonna gun for it, although he's gonna get stunned up, slowed down as well. Can he get okay? A few more right clicks, leaving armor, keeping him alive. Shapeshift, still have the duration left, and they want to go for Ghost as well, man. No, that's a little bit too over-eager, but now ADTR gets the Magic Missile, the Minor Summoner, a few more right clicks. They only have to delay it out, and they will get the kill, so chasing Skywrath Mage there in the end, not worth it, but the tier 2 is down to less than half HP.
In the meantime, top lane, we do see that push coming forward again, and now you got Imber here with a DD rune and Santis ready to go. We could be looking for one hell of a Ice Path connects on two. Mushi and WTF locked down for a few seconds. Are we going to see the re-engage from Imber? Maybe he's waiting for that negative armor from the Weave to fall. That's going to do a hell of a lot, but in comes Extinct. He tries to stun out FCFC, but it doesn't bounce. Now we get the turnaround. The Ice Path. They're going to just focus Extinct, and the Sanities drop. That gets the extra kill. Sure, they're going to lose a tier 1, but they kill the Witch Doctor once more.
Yeah, and with this kill now, actually, Ketchike is level 11 as well. Next time around with Sanity's Eclipse, gonna do actually a pretty nice extra amount of damage there. And still, he just keeps on farming, but Titan, they are gaining map control. I mean, tier 2 bottom lane, not too far away from falling, but Ohio, oh man, Nature Skies, he has the Elder Dragon form. I think this Shakira is dead.
The Kira may be dead. Hell, they could focus on the OD as well, but FCFC will once again be the focus. This could be his third death. They're going to put the prison up onto the Treant, but it's not going to be anywhere near enough. FCFC is still in a lot of trouble. He will go down here. There's no escape in my mind. Dragon Breath to clean that one up. And however, we do get the rotations coming in from Imba. He's going to prison up the Lycan. Could we see this fight start all over again? We don't have sanities for another 2 minutes. That's going to be a big deficit for Invasion. But they have a Chrono. They have Mystic Flare. They are ready to fight, with the sheer exception of not having sanities. But at this point in, this OD does not need sanities. Imba has enough physical right-click damage with that Arcane Orb.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get in range properly for it, yes. Although, okay, I think Titan, they are full of mana. They have their ultimates apart from the Death Ward since Extinct. He's only level 5 still, but... Yeah, Ghosty goes in, Chrono actually waiting for it only onto one hero. There's the Mystic Flare, though. Will it be enough with the Silence? Nope, Shallow Grave is there, and he's only down to half HP with KYXY. Shapeshift, he wants to chase people down. Overgrowth onto 2 as well, Ghost. He's the first one to fall FC, well, not long afterwards, and I think they're going to get tier 2 as well.
I think that's 4 deaths for FZ in less than 3 minutes. That's a pretty big thing, and it will be a case of the tier 2. This is the sheer power of the lineup from Titan. They have the tanky kind of cores of a Lycan and a DK. On top of that, they have the healing behind it of a Witch Doctor, a Dazzle, and a Treant. Then you throw in Shallow Grave, Death Ward, and all the other carnage. Titan's draft is solid.
Yeah, and actually, speaking of solid, they have a 4,000 gold lead at the moment. XP 2,000, but it used to be more for Invasion as well. And they're already at the tier 3, I mean, 15 minutes in, although KYXY takes a pretty huge amount of damage, leaving armor though, with the Shadow Waves, just keeping everybody alive.
Indeed, and that level of healing is absolutely insane. And I'm honestly surprised, did we see Ancient Apparition banned? I don't think we did. AA would be very strong against this lineup.
Yeah, it would be absolutely sick, to be honest, because that's what's keeping them going at the moment. They're at full HP even after a fight.
Mm.
It's going to be rather hard for Invasion to actually stop the push-ins. They don't really have the best form of counter-push at the moment.
No, they don't. They have quite a staggering amount less in terms of counter-push, but I'm thinking, how can Invasion deal with this level of healing? They need to at least chrono 2 of the 3 healers. I mean, this is a case of 3 healers, 2 DPS kind of style, near enough. Of course, Death Ward is a lot of damage on its own back, but you get my point in general. It's a staggeringly large amount to deal with. And from where we sit, Invasion have an uphill slope to climb. The OD is going to do a fair amount. Now he's got that level 2 sanities. It's actually ready to fly, so we could see potential to nuke down that DK or Lycan as quick as humanly possible. It's one of the strengths of the OD. He has that sheer damage potential against strength heroes, specifically strength heroes as well as agility heroes, but strength heroes generally have less int gain than agility heroes in general, so going to add up. It's going to pay off here.
But Invasion, they're smoked up, and actually FCFC, he still doesn't have his mech, and well, Core Shakiro, he's pretty good early, but he falls off rather heavily, and well, it's 60 minutes in, it's not too late by any means, but they need this smoke to work.
Yep, and they are revealed. They're going to find Extinct. Where's the Ice Path? They drop the Mystic Flare instead. They're trying to bring down Extinct, but he survives. He's surviving the full Mystic Flare. The Dual Breath will drop, and he actually lives off of the back of that one. That was 2 ultimates used, and he still stands. That is the sheer level of the healing plus the living armor.
Yeah, they didn't even have Dazzle there, so it got even worse. Invasion maybe should have just tried to sneak a Roche. I mean, they have the minus armor to do it for sure at the moment. Especially if OD comes in with the Arcane Orbs, just to provide the extra additional damage. So, I mean, Invasion, at least they didn't lose anything, but they will lose the tier 2 now.
The tier 2 will fall in favor here of Titan, but there'll be a tier 2 for a tier 1 trade. So staggeringly in favor of Invasion when you in favor of Titan when you consider the tower they killed is the one that Invasion will use to access the Roche pit quickly. I'm just considering slightly for a second in my head. What could Titan have also done with this draft? They could have. This is
okay. Scarlet Mage might be in trouble. He got stunned up, paralyzing cask as well. They needed it. Actually, never mind. The Shadow Wave somehow clips him in the end.
However, on the backside of this, you've got Mushi potentially ready with that living armor just to protect anyone against Imba and the rest of the lineup from Invasion. And now they've lost their Sky that takes the Mystic Flare offline for a good 18 seconds. And they were hung around for the tier 3. I thought they would get the tier 2 and back up, maybe to Roshan, but it's a case of they just poked and prodded the tier 3 a little bit. Something I didn't expect, but what I was going to say was this kind of healing strategy, it seems to be working fairly well. I mean, they didn't get the AA for inside of Invasion, which it's certainly a good thing for Titan considering. But could a Necrolite have been viable in this one, you reckon?
I mean, I think it definitely could have. Just keep the creeps alive, keep the push going, and especially up against the lineup that the Invasion has, since when at least, like you said, they need to catch all of the healers almost, or at least 2 of the 3 healers in the Chronosphere, which is still not an easy thing to accomplish. So just if there would be a Necrolite on top of it all, just even more that the Invasion would have to focus down. But they are going for Roshan at the moment, and they're doing it rather fast.
Indeed, indeed. With Roshan down, Aegis on the back of Imber, this next fight could be an absolute slobber knocker, and we're looking for a brawl of some description, potentially at this tier 2 in the mid lane, and that's where I think we'll see Titan turn their eyes next.
Yeah, they can just easily go for towers now that they so far have been able to do so.
In comes Imber. He does get the Astral Imprisonment on the DK. That's going to start stealing some of that all-important intellect to fuel that Sanity's Eclipse. And here we go. Siege the tier 2. Red Dragon forms up. No Frost Dragon yet. And doing some good damage. Where is the defense? We need to see a good Chronosphere, but look at the position out of the lineup of Titan. They're all ready and split up. They don't want to get caught in a chrono, so it's going to be a case of they're going to have to sack the tier 2 and maybe defend at the tier 3. In the meantime, however, you do have 3 members of Invasion looking to at least get a tier 1 for the tier 2. Something in exchange. And do we see a 4-star forward? No, they're not going to go for the Dragon Tail onto Imber. They thought it could be an aggressive option here, but equally, just take a look at Titan. They've decided, yep, we're time for your tier 3. And now comes the TPs back to defend. Invasion, they need everyone here. They need a good chrono as well. In comes Imber. He's going to start stealing more in. But they need a good combination of ultis. The Mystic Flare drops, it completely whiffs, the Macropyres dropped as well. Ghost jumps in, he didn't find the chrono. Now comes the turnaround, the swap comes in, Death Ward gets deployed by Titan. This is buying time, a good amount of damage, but still, the siege is there. Now we get the chrono on 2, but the Shallow Grave is there. They can't bring down KYXway, and Ohio is just too damn tanky. The lineup still stands, Titan all survive. Now Ohio gets caught out, gets isolated. Now the Sanity's dropped, huge damage to 3. Now Ghost comes in, but in comes the Overgrowth. That's going to end all levels of aggression here, and they won't find anyone. Surely not. But the DK is still low. Lycan falling. They all are being healed up, though. You're going to lose Mushi in exchange, but you keep your cores alive. Equally, though, the chase comes in. Ghost jumps forward. They're going to turn around and try to bring down the Faceless forward. But ADTR comes in. Imber is here, dropping those Arcane Orbs. The Shallow Grave comes up once again, protecting KYXway once more. But the turnaround is there. He's going to go for it. They bring down the Lycanthrope finally. Now they're going to look for Extinct as well as Ohio, but they're going to swap out the OD. He's going to come back with that Aegis, though. He is not out of this one by any stretch of the imagination, but FZ is going to go down. They've also lost ADTR on the Vengeful Spirit, but equally Imber's back up and he's fighting. He brings down that Witch Doctor, and now he's looking for WTF, who's going to have to TP out. Can he get out in time? Yes, he damn well can.
Well, that was pretty close to TP out, to be honest, and Invasion, they kept their tower alive. Actually, tower didn't almost take any damage at all. Did they have any buybacks here? Nope, just the Aegis, that's all. Actually, I think that fight favored the Invasion by the end of it. I think the kills were traded rather equally, but it's just the fact that OD, he got more levels. Before that fight, he only had 1 point into Arcane Orb, suddenly he has 2 more, so just maxing out Arcane Orb is actually a pretty sick increase in damage. And has a BKB now as well.
Imber has the items he needs to start just balling out of control. He's got his BKB, he's got his 4-star. What do we go from here item-wise? Scythe of Vice. That will amplify the multiplier of the Sanity's Eclipse tenfold just because of the extra int gain.
OD, he doesn't have a TP with him. He's getting completely surrounded. Elder Dragon form, Dragon Tail, Breathe Fire, and yeah, a few right clicks. Just
overstayed his welcome on the top
look at
lane.
the gold Lycan got from this. 1.3k.
It was a huge chain of kills that Imber had going for him. And I was going to say, other items, there's one other item for Invasion that may be an option here on that OD. Refresher Orb. What's better than 1 Sanity's Eclipse? 2.
Well, I just think, I mean, he needs like 1 extra intelligence item before, whether it be Shiva's card. Shiva's card actually would be pretty nice, slowing down the push as well at the same time, or Hex, one of the 2. And then maybe Refresher, but I mean, he got a crazy amount of farm, at least a crazy amount of kills. But well, OD, man, he needs his team to just be on par.
OD needs to buy back right now. They've got the weave up. They're ready to push into this. They're losing their tier 3. They're going to try to do some damage to Ohio, but in comes KYXway on that Lycan. And it just does not matter at this point. They've lost their tier 3. Racks are exposed now, and they could easily take this.
Well, Elder Dragon form will expire, so I think Titan they will back off and come back another day with the exposed racks. But the Invasion there, they've been so long in their own side of the map, in their own base, just being on the defensive.
It's one of the downsides here. They've lost complete map control, and just look how much Titan have forced their issue on the map. It's absolutely nuts. The level of healing has just kept the sustain going, and the push just never ends. This is relentless aggression out of Titan, and it's the kind that we love to see.
Yeah, and you can actually see the gold lead just increasing and increasing. It's 10,000 now for Titan. XP still about 1k in Invasion's favor, but that's pretty much nothing. As Heart of the Rask finished on Lycan, and I mean, he's gonna survive the Sanity's Eclipse rather easy, I think, with that heart.
I think he'll survive it, yes. He's sure he's going to take a good chunk of damage. With the heart, he'll survive the first one. If we see a refresher, he could still potentially go down to a second Sanities, but as we stand, there's just too much potential to heal this up from Titan, especially with that Shallow Grave to back it up as well. How do you deal with Titan's lineup? You draft an AA, and the AA just didn't fly in this one.
And AA, I mean, Invasion, they were, at the moment, they must be thinking it themselves as well, or well, probably not at the moment, but after the game, they were like, holy crap, how did we not see this? Why did we not go for the AA at the moment? I mean, yeah, Vengeful Spirit, he's actually done a pretty good job swapping out the Faceless Void last fight it was as well, I think. He went in, didn't pop the Chrono straight away, got Dragon Tail, but then got swapped out to safety.
Yeah, the defensive swap protected Invasion for so long now. Without that swap, the Void would have died, and then that fight would have been a completely different one. But it seems Titan want to go again. They're just going to come in the high ground. They drop the weave. Everyone's going to start getting stacking armor come up now, and the racks are just going to fall. They're losing the range racks, but in comes in. But that's a good ice path on the KYX where they're going to try to bring him down. But they drop the Chrono onto WTF. That's going to at least take Shallow Grave off the table. But the damage is split across two fronts. And now in comes the Deathwood. This is going to do a huge amount of damage. The BK Weeds will come out. Sanities will fly. It just doesn't do enough, though. They didn't even phase Mushi. Now they're going to focus KYX way. The Shallow Grave's ending, but he's just getting healed up. He's too far in, too quick. They're going to lose Ohio, sure. Surely they are. He can't escape, but not being able to kill KYXY on the Lycan was a big deal there, a very big deal. And now, off the back of losing their range racks, they need to get something. They need to get an objective, at least one, off the back of that. And they can take, well, it's still standing. A tier 1 in the top lane could be the option. Equally, we could look for a tier 2 if they want to push that hard. I mean, the pushing power can start to come up for Invasion. They have the Chikira, they have the firepower, but I'm wondering what is the next order of business here for Titan in exchange. They can keep focusing that top lane. Equally, they could take Roshan. It's going to be up in about over a minute.
Well, it might be in 4 minutes as well, depending on the luck of the draw for Invasion. KYX actually on the top lane. I was semi-expecting Kechik to just 4-step in, get Jester Imprisonment and try to go for it, although it's definitely risky. Mushi's around, as is expected, Ice Path. They will catch Lycan, they just want the tower, that's all they want, they will get it as well, but Paralyzing Cascade here, he's going to be the sacrificial lamb.
They're going to lose the VS for this one, and I'm wondering if we're not, off the back of that one, just going to see a full 5-man push on this top lane out of Titan. They've just got a good pick-off. They've got the VS down for 40 seconds. This could be an opening here.
Yeah, most certainly good, but Kechik, he has a double damage rune bottled up. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the level 3 ultimate yet, and of course, no huge intelligence items. Does have that ultimate orb at the moment, so probably a Sheepstick. I really don't see a Lincoln Sphere or Eye of Skadi for him at the moment.
A Lincoln Sphere and Eye of Skadi would be good options, but I think that's a little too far away.
Yeah, I think it's just sheep. It must be sheep at the moment. Just trying to lock down anybody.
The extra intellect on a Scythe of Vice is absolutely huge. It's going to add to the potential of Sanity's Eclipse's damage, but we did see the Sanities not even trigger the damage threshold on Mushi in that fight, as well as onto the supports. But now the fight's going to start all over again. Dragon forms pop. Still no Frost Dragon, of course, not yet at least. They've been grouped up so much, it's only a level 13 DK. Experience is actually in favour of Invasion at this point, I believe. From where we stand, they want this melee racks, but this is going to be a very hard sell. You've got all of Invasion up and ready to fight. They're going to punish KYXY for this one. He's going to drop his ult. You get the Chronosphere in the back lines. That catches Ohio as well. He walked into it. They're going to try to focus down the Lycan in the meantime while the Chrono is applied, and they will at least kill the damn wolf. Now they're going to look for more off the back of this, but the Death Ward deploys, doing some okay damage to Ghost. The Macropide's going to drop 2. Ice Path catches as well on 3. This is a huge catch here by Invasion. They catch 2, 3 from kills so far. Now they're going to look for Ohio off the back of this one, and they've still lost no one. This is how you stop the healers. You lock them down and you control them. No Shallow Grave means you get your kills, and that's a full 5-man wipe in favor of Invasion.
And melee Rex, not, well, down to half HP, but they're reaching up, so excellent fight for Invasion. I mean, that went way better than expected, especially after the Chronosphere only landed on the Dazzle, but looked like just locking down the Dazzle for long enough. And actually, not only that, the Dragon Knight, he backed himself into the Chronosphere. So he tried to back off, but Chronosphere completely blocked off the high ground. the rest of the supports, the Treant as well as Witch Doctor, couldn't really do too much to help either, and Lycan, he had no way to escape. He tried to go that way, but by that time he was already a little bit too low, and actually OD is excellent up against Dazzle in a sense that Arcane Orb is pure damage, so the Weave's bonus armor doesn't really matter too much for the OD.
Indeed, and we've got the Aegis now available for Imba. That's going to be the second Roshan going the way of Invasion off the back of that full 5-man wipe. That's absolutely huge, and Imba needs to be slightly careful here. He's getting a little bit ballsy going into the enemy jungle, but still, from where we stand, that was pretty much the best thing Invasion could hope for. And let's take a quick look at the graphs, Couch. If you look at the experience graph, that's a 10,000 experience lead, and I thought it was in favor. Yeah. Now, the one I'm going to point out more importantly, let's take a look at that gold graph. This could be a 10k plus gold comeback, quite easily.
Well, it's so far a 8k swing from 10,000, almost 11 even, to 2,000, so Invasion, that's just one fight to break them all, and that just goes to show that how hard it actually is to break a high ground, especially if you're up against Faceless Void. And now, Sheepstick finished on Kechik, level 3 Sanity's Eclipse. And actually, last fight, it was without the Sanities. In like the last seconds of the fight, it did come off cooldown, but by that time, there was no point to even use it anymore. So, man, Invasion, they are very much so still in the game, just holding on to the melee racks. I mean, range racks, yes, lane will just have some momentum in Titan's favor, but range racks, definitely not a big deal.
Well, he's gone all in now. He's got his Aegis, sure, but he's just spent the gold that he would have had for a buyback on that Sheepstick. So they're going to look to fight with this one. It gives them another control effect to lock down on WTF or the Witch Doctor with. And I will point out, at this point in, I would not be surprised to see a refresher if they do ping out Invasion here. They know Invasion here completely, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a refresher at all for Imba. It would double Sanity's Eclipse. It would basically be Insanity's Eclipse at that point. And this staggering damage potential now with the intellect of a Scythe of Ice behind it, I'm pretty sure he's going to be within threshold to nuke all of those supports.
Yeah, I actually want to compare the intelligence. He's sitting at 131, I believe it was. If I can, yep, it should be correct. Whereas WTF, for example, I think is the highest intelligence on Titan's side. Let me check, just in case. Yeah, he is actually by far the highest almost, so sitting at only 79. That is a huge difference, especially if Kechik gets himself a few stacks of Astral Imprisonment, 10 intelligence each. This Sanity's Eclipse now, man, holy smokes.
The Sanity's Eclipse is going to be absolutely nuts, but he needs to get it on point. I mean, when a Sanity's is used on point and it hits all targets, it's equivalent to a nuclear missile going off. I mean, it's a hero I just love to see, just for its potential to come in and destroy with that.
Well, it is gonna be somewhat hard to kill off the Dragon Knight still, since he's also going for the Heart of Tarrasque. Lycan now has a BKB, which will greatly increase his survivability. Arcane Orbs won't mean a thing to him when the BKB is activated. So, yes, the two cores, they are gonna be tanky, and maybe that tankiness will be enough to just kind of face dive themselves up against the racks, but do they really want to go again the same way they have so far?
I don't think so, and you've got to remember the Lycan isn't here for this one. This is 4 men without the Lycan, and potential, sure, to kill anyone that pushes up too far, like Ghost here, but still, you have like the team behind him. FZ is here, you've got OK ready to fly as well. I mean, they have potential to take this fight 5v4, but equally, take a look at the bottom lane quickly. Imba, sieging that tower. He needs to TP home at some point soon, though. I mean, the living armor, sure, it's going to start healing up this tower, but if this push comes on their door, he needs to TP near enough immediately.
Yeah, I mean, it's... Actually, if they would just leave somebody behind, maybe like a Treant, just to stop that TP out and back the hell out off or something, it could actually be a pretty huge thing to do, because OD, he is the major source of damage for Invasion at the moment.
He is their damage engine completely. Without the OD, Invasion lose pretty much everything. Sure, they've got some physical damage, some negative armor, and their Void is starting to come online. He's only got that Maelstrom, however. It's not enough. And OD, will he manage to get that bottom tier 1? No, tier 2? No, he won't. He's going to be forced to TP back now. He can't finish it off in time, but it's a case of they've just forced the TP. Titan are happy at that, and the tower will actually go down to creeps, it seems. There was must have been a creep attacking it that I didn't catch. But from where we sit, I suppose getting the tier 2 and then TPing back, yeah, it's absolutely fine here for Invasion, and they can just take the next fight on their terms, considering they also have that Aegis.
Look at the pickup on Kechik now. OD, a Hyperstone. Is this going to be AC, or can he actually be thinking of a Mjolnir at the moment?
No,
it wouldn't be too bad, help out, clear their lanes, I guess, and extra attack speed, but...
So I was expecting the refresher just because of the effective extra int and the glass cannon kind of philosophy. Now, the idea of it being a hyperstone is going to increase his attack speed, sure. And mathematically, that is going to increase his overall damage over time, just because he's going to get more arcane orbs out. That's something that I overlooked. That's actually rare to say, but if this is an AC, it's also going to give him a large amount of physical armor, which is also going to protect against the Lycan, the Death Ward, and the DK. I like the idea of an AC thinking about it, and I've never actually thought about it. AC actually makes sense for an OD.
Yeah, I mean, it's... If you want to go for the battle kind of OD that just relies on the right clicks, it's possibly fine. Of course, doesn't give you any intelligence, so it doesn't boost up the Sanity's Eclipse, nor does it boost the Arcane Orb. But I think he has enough by this point anyway, but are we gonna see wraparound potential? The Wolves are scouting things out, but there's a gem on ADTR. But KYXY still wants to come in from the side.
Well, they're going to push for this tier 2. This should be one hell of a battle, and Ohio still doesn't have the Frost Dragon form. He's still level 15, and a Frost Dragon form could make the difference here, considering the splash as well as that slow. That attack speed slow on Imba or on Ghost will just buy them some effective HP just by reducing the enemy's attack speed. But from where we stand, Aegis going to be reclaimed in 4 seconds. Are Asian aware of this? Are they going to pull back now they don't have the possibility for a reincarnation on Imba? It seems not. Here we go. Swap in. They're going to go straight on Ohio, but the Dragon Tail immediately goes onto Imba. Imba needs to be careful. He doesn't have the Aegis anymore, and he's going to be the focus. He's going to prison himself. The BKBs, however, are going to run out any second. Are we going to see a fight here, or are we just going to see an evac? We've got the BKB pop. Now comes the turnaround. Ghost's going to be the focus, but equally KYXY, he's going to come down. And Sandy's Eclipse will go. The OD falls, though. Now KYXY will go down. At least he got the OD on the back side of this fight, but it's a 2-for-1 trade right now. FCFC will catch the tail end of the overgrowth, and Mushi will protect the escape potential. As this is just going to be an absolute turnaround and clusterfuck. But FC will fall, and they lose the Jakiro as well. So that's a 3 for a Lycan. That's not worth it by any stretch of the imagination, and a complete turnaround from what I thought. And off the back of that, partly I want to say this falls. The reason this all happens falls onto the eventual spirit of ADTR. He pulled off a swap, but he swapped the Dragon Knight in range to Dragon Tail the OD. That's a huge misplay. A huge one.
I have no idea why would you even do that. Just get the Dazzle, get the Witch Doctor, anybody that can heal or doesn't kill off your teammates straight away when you swap them. So not only do they lose 3 heroes, they also lost the gem, but thank God that they actually got the kill on the Lycan. Sanity's Eclipse was dropped, able to bring the Lycan low enough for that. Without that, if Lycan had been alive, I really think Titan would be just pressuring high ground already.
High ground, yeah, they would be. But part of me wants to turn around and say, potentially Game of Throws.
Man, there's no throw, no win. You have to throw at least once if you want to win.
I suppose, but we do have more items coming online. We have a sheep stick, this time on the side of Titan, on the off-lane Dazzle of WTF, and that's a pretty damn big item. Gives them a way to lock down that OD. And it's something that they do need. Lock down the OD, stop him getting out this ferocious level of damage.
Yeah, it's just an excellent pickup, man. You can never go wrong with a sheepstick, to be honest. Even when Faceless Void comes in, and if he's not aware of the sheepstick, he actually might get insta-hexed and brought down rather fast, since if he's there just standing, the physical damage from a Lycan is actually pretty high already, going for what looks like a Basher, just has the Javelin for it. And Dragon Knight, of course, will have the Frost Dragon now, so if Faceless Void gets hexed, he's most likely dead. He has to be sure to actually activate his BKB when he time walks in.
I'll be completely agreeing on that one. If any of these heroes don't get their BKBs off, this is nearly going to be all but over. And we've got the rest of the support all rotating and farming up, and we do have Dragonite with that Frost Dragon form now, which is going to be the big deal here. Frost Dragon, as I mentioned before that last fight, it is going to be the thing that can turn this again in favor of Titan. And when I say in favor of Titan, if we look at the graph, this could still go either way. It's only a 6k gold lead and a 6k experience lead the other way on these graphs. It's close. This is a very close one.
Yeah,
this could go down to the wire.
It's always fun to see games that actually when XP favors one team and gold the other. It doesn't happen actually all that often. Usually one team just has the advantage clearly for both. But at the moment, I mean, there's still the threat of Faceless Void as always, but he himself actually doesn't do all that much damage, especially if there's actually a weave coming out as well for extra armor.
Well, the Void really has not had a good game. He has Maelstrom even, and He's got a BKB. He doesn't have any of the staggering physical damage that we would come to expect, and he doesn't have an Aghanims either to reduce the cooldown of the Chronosphere. It's a horrible position to be in for Ghost. I mean, he's hitting like a wet paper bag, for lack of better terminology.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of Ghost and their other core heroes, even the Chikira, it's not... Core Chikira not getting too much, but mid lane OD might be in trouble. Yes, they get the Hex out, the stun as well, Dragon Tail to follow up. It's gonna be a huge kill. He does have buyback though, thank God for Invasion, but such a crazy kill.
The Sheepstick, as I said, will be the thing to lock down that OD. If they can just catch OD like that, it's over. Invasion need to think about defending this. They need to buy back now. They can't risk losing a second set of racks. And honestly, they can't do this without the OD. They need the buyback. They're going to drop the Ice Path to try to slow things down. The stun comes out onto KYXY. But if we just look, the Frost Dragon is already dealing good damage to the tower. Buyback comes in now. They swap it in. They swap out of the Mystic Flare. That's a bit of a misplay, but in comes the OD. Sanities will fly. They're doing good damage in the back lines of this one. Mushihawa's forced back. BKB's popped by Imba and Ghost. They want to fight into this one. They're going to try to bring that KYXY. One more can finish it off. Can they get the Lycan in time? The Arcane Bolts are going across the map, but he's going to start healing up with that Living Armor. In the meantime, back in the fight, ADTR sheeped up by WTF, and the Ice Path Magic Missile, they connect in time, they catch him with the Astral Imprisonment, and this should surely be a kill on that Dazzle. There's no escape for him, and that's a 2-0 at the end of the day in favor of Invasion. But still, did Lycan survive? Yes, he did.
Just barely. I mean, if they had gotten the kill on Lycan, it would have been actually a brilliant fight for Invasion, especially considering that the Chronosphere did absolutely nothing. Oh man, they only caught Lycan with the Chronosphere, but even him, they swapped out ADTR. He swapped him out straight after Mystic Flare was activated by OK. So no coordination at all in the team fight yet. They were still able to win it, of course. Kechik, he had to buy back, but he has the Aegis now. Hopefully next time around, they won't actually mistime it so that they won't take a fight straight after it expires. But man, what a fight, all things considered, for Invasion. How the hell did it go that well for them?
I honestly do not know. It's a case of Imba just came in and just started doing work. The buyback bought the time they needed, but I'll point this out. That buyback's now on a significant cooldown, and if this OD gets picked off again, it could all but be over. Sure, he's got the Aegis to try to back him up, but it's still going to be a rough game, Couch. And I honestly don't know if Titan can deal with the OD if he has 2 lives in the middle of a big team fight.
Yeah, and actually one thing is that OD, he definitely, I mean, he has the Aegis, but he still can't be split pushing by himself, even though he does have that BKB. First of all, even if he did have a TP on him, there's still a Basher now pinched on Lycan. But this game, it's... Titan, they actually have, I think, another game, maybe in Star Series or something. Maybe that's why they actually drafted the way they did, hoping to end this early. But the Invasion, they did not give up so easily, so we're 40 minutes in. And we might be looking for a way longer game still.
Very true. And you say that they drafted the aggressive kind of push strategy with the healers to back it up. This is the problem with the kind of lineup Titan run. It falls off. You've got a core Dazzle, sure. He's got a Sheepstick. He can still develop his items a little bit, maybe a Shiva's Guard, tank up. But if we look at the Lycan and the DK, they will fall off in terms of effectiveness, especially considering the amount of pure damage coming out of Imba. You mix in that pure damage, he's 4-star sword, looking for KYXY, but KYXY is going to be well ahead of that. He's just going to TP home. And you look at the sheer potential here for damage from Invasion. They got the Macropie combo, they got the Mystic Flare. Sure, that's falling off in terms of effectiveness because it's all spell damage and there are many BKBs on the table. You've got pure damage coming out of OD, you've got negative armor on ADTR, and then you've got Ghost, who is still slowly developing. He's got himself a Mjolnir now, and now off the back of that Mjolnir, do we look for a Desolator? Do we look for some more physical right-click? MKB, perhaps? Just something to hit, and hit hard, is needed on Ghost, in my mind. It's a case of Invasion are back. They want this tier 2. This tier 2 has been a blight on the game, but behind them, in they come with the flank off the back of a smoke. They're going to just bring down OK. The supports are going to be the targets, but in comes the Chrono. It catches Imba, though. That's a nightmare for them. The BKBs are all going to run off, and now you get the Death Ward. This could be a complete turnaround. Still, they lose the Dazzle. Shallowgrave's now off, but in comes the Aegis. Comes back with the OD. Ghost's going to use the cheese. Swap out from ADTR to try to prolong this one, but now Sanities all fly. They melt the Lycan. They're now going to look for Ohio. With that Time Walk, they cannot stop this double kill for Ghost. Make that a triple kill for Ghost. And in the back lines of this fight, Imba catches Extinct with that Astral Imprisonment, and now they're just going to look to chase down the Witch Doctor. He has no hope of escaping this one. Make that an ultra kill for Ghost.
Looks like he doesn't need additional damage items, but all in all, a brilliant plan from Titan to mess coming from behind like that. But if they had gotten Ghost with that initiation, gotten the stun and brought down the Faceless Void immediately? Yes, maybe, but I mean, going for Skyrift Mage, how big of a threat is that hero actually at the moment? I don't think it's really that high priority of a target. Although the Chronosphere, it did catch Lycan together with Dazzle, so Dazzle couldn't heal anybody at all. Couldn't get the Hex, no nothing. But it also caught Kasich. Thank God he had the Aegis, and without the Aegis and Cheese, this fight just definitely would not have gone the way it did. But suddenly, Rax in their favor, Invasion, they are the first ones to get a full set of Rax.
Indeed, now advantage Invasion, but now comes the potential for a turnaround. Mushi comes in, catches ADTR and Ghost with the Overgrowth, but it doesn't matter. Ice Path drops, they're going to try to turn this one around. Macropire drops, and the damage is just there from Invasion. They are just waylaying at this point. They're focusing WTF, considering he has that Shallow Grave, but it does not matter. They lose the Lycan off the back of a buyback. They lose the Treant, and look at Ghost go. He is unstoppable now.
Well, I think actually they could go for GG at the moment. I mean, Lycan already bought back. There are only 2 heroes alive, others would have fought back as well if they had it probably, but they want to play it safe, just go for the proper GG, get this double set of racks, and no, never mind, GG called by Mushi.
What a turnaround of a game. The back and forth was absolutely insane.
Yeah, I mean, Invasion just extremely well played in both of the series. I actually thought Titan they're gonna just snowball this game out of control, get racks after racks after racks with the heals, but no, Invasion, they thought otherwise and just they take it 2-0 against Titan.
It is one hell of a show of force coming out of Invasion. They defeat the Lycan. They just destroyed it. It's one hell of a game. And just look at how much of an impact Imber had with the Outworld. 17, 3, and 10. That is nuts. That is just absolutely nuts.
Yeah, it certainly is just extremely well played by him, as well as the overall team effort. Some mistakes every now and then with the swaps and the Chronos, but all in all, they won in the end, so that's all that matters. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in, supporting us, as well as the Join Dota League. If you have money to spare, you can always buy the ticket for Join Dota League as well, just to increase the prize pool, make it so the teams have a little bit more motive to actually be there on time, maybe. And well, as always, you can always follow us on this channel, as well as HeflaTV 2 and HeflaMoke. All the links and descriptions for the channels are below the stream, as are links for our social media. To know when we're going live, HeflaTV for both Twitter and Facebook, and of course the votes. Game number 1 already uploaded, game number 2 shortly as well onto youtube.com/HeflaMoke. But if you want some cool emotes, you can always subscribe as well. But all in all, have a good day and just once again appreciate it that you came. And of course, man, I almost forgot, but Blackadder, where can people find you?
They can find me at Mr_Blackadder pretty much everywhere, Twitch and Twitter. And honestly, I look forward to more games like this one.
Yeah, as do we all, but guys, just have a good one. Hope to see you maybe later today or maybe tomorrow. We will see when the next games are.
Aye.